up the wrong pathway. But now that I've tried God, I have felt a feeling that I've never felt before. I cannot put my finger on it. I cannot even measure it. I can't even explain it. All I know is this, that I'm feeling something that I've never felt before. And that's how it is when you serve God. You cannot explain the feeling, but you just know He is there. When you're serving God, you cannot put a pinpoint on your joy. All you know that your joy is there. You cannot put a pinpoint on your happiness. All you know that happiness is there. Why? Because you cannot put a finger on the God that you serve. All you know that He exists. All you know that He is there. What am I trying to tell you? Because God, you can't put a finger on God. He will just allow you to experience Him. Ask Moses. Moses said, God, I want to know you. But God said, you cannot see my face and live. But what I will do, I will show you my hinder parts. So sometimes God got to show you where you came from. You understand where you are going. Amen. God let Moses know. Amen. I will show you from the beginning to you understand where I want you to go. So therefore, sometimes God has to bring us to a state of point. This is where I brought you from to let you know what I got for you. So now what I'm trying to tell you, amen, because God did all that for us, He wants to let us know this, that because we have tried the dead wilderness of the world, now it's time to try the lively portion of God. My God, so now Paul said, amen, because He rose again, now we are alive. Now the next verse says this, amen, there henceforth we know no man after the flesh, amen, though we have known God. You see, every now and then we try to put, amen, measure up people by what they possess. What am I trying to tell you? Every now and then we say, amen, somebody got it going on because they wear a certain brand of clothing. They got it going on because they live on Park Avenue, and because they have a chauffeur and a maid, they got it going on. But God says, no, that is the wrong judgment to use to try to put this person in a position. Understanding that what God calls a life and what man calls a life is two different things. We call people alive and living because they got service, a maid, and a mansion. But God says, no, you may have a servant and a maid and a mansion, but you are still dead until you come to know me. You may have a servant, maid, and a mansion, have all those things, but you are not alive until you come to the revelation of who I am. So therefore, servants and maids and mansions, amen, are only good in this life. If I want to see God, I got to be hooked up to His servants, His maids, and His mansions. So therefore, Paul said, I made the mistake of trying to, amen, know God in a physical way. I tried this, amen, know God, amen, by understanding because the clothes He wore, I try to say He cannot be God. Because the way He walked, He cannot be God. You see, when God walked this earth, amen, the Pharisees and the Sadducees said, you cannot be a king because you are walking. You cannot be a king because you don't have service. You cannot be a king because your dress code says you are not a king. But don't you understand this? God will allow you, amen, not to have worldly possessions, amen, to let you know that you are rich in me. You see, understanding this, when you are serving God, your riches is not hooked up in the, oh my God, it's not hooked up in the external, but hooked up in the revelation of who God is. You can be rich in God, amen, and not so rich in the world, but because the world don't understand the God that you serve, they will measure you by the jeans you wear, by the shirt you have, by the clothes on your back. But God says to come to know me, that makes you rich. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be rich in this world. I want to be rich in God. So Paul understood the fact that this, that I made the mistake of trying to, amen, judge God by worldly standards, but I was all wrong. Now that I know God, I understand that God, amen, cannot be judged by natural measures or natural means. Yes, he was a king, but he dressed modestly. Yes, he was a king, but he walked. Yes, he was a king. He didn't have no servants. He was a king, but yet he worked. Amen. Understanding this, that the measurements of God, amen, is contrary to what the world standards are. So therefore, amen, do not think because they measure you wrong that God got the wrong perception. No, I come to tell you this. You don't worry what the world says. Worry what God says. And if God calls you rich, you are rich. If God calls you strong, you are strong. If God calls you overcomer, you are overcomer. Why? Because you are not measured by the world standards, but you are measured by God's standards.